Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 9 U.S. destroyer, Fletcher. It has 5 main guns, 10 torpedoes, 22 AA guns, a surface detection of 6.4 kilometers top speed, 36.5 knots, total hull 17,100. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main battery and propulsion, faster torpedo aim, faster rudder shift, and concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, lower cooldown on torpedoes, superintendent, and last stand. We are on the map Trap, and this is the zone game type. Zone game type, it's locked out for the first 2 minutes of the game. After the 2 minutes have passed, it becomes capturable. It takes only a minute to capture it, but it cannot be increased in speed of capture with multiple friendlies, and you cannot capture unless there are no enemies in the capture point. So this is a very large capture point. Obviously, I cannot possibly see all the enemies who could potentially be in the zone. So I gotta go hunting for them, right? A lot of games on this particular game type have gone to draws, funny enough for me. There's just no mechanic that rewards a team for having more ships than the enemy team. It's just who can last the longest. It most of the time goes to the 20-minute mark, even if you have success. I believe I had one game out of 10, where we actually successfully captured the base. And there was nearly nobody on the enemy team, maybe 2 ships. So it ends up just being kill the enemy team. That's how you're going to win the game. I think they need to put something in that protects from a draw in most cases. And of course, we run into an enemy Benson, Tier 8 U.S. destroyer. We unload our main battery. The main battery was buffed in the rate of fire. For the Fletcher, the torpedoes were not touched. They're still fantastic. The Fletcher was not an issue with torpedoes. The guns did not have the kind of rate of fire you would expect from a Tier 9, so I'm glad they buffed it. And of course, he uses smoke. He has vision on us because he has friendlies who see me. I choose not to fire, and I'm going to run away. This is an advantage to the Benson, and I'm not going to allow him to have that advantage. While I'm running away, I'm going to send out torpedoes in a narrow spread concentrated on the main indicator. This Atago seems to be headed towards it. If he doesn't, then it's a short cooldown. I'll live, right? We have to give up ground, though, on the Benson, but it doesn't really matter. The capture base is massive, and there's so many little hideouts that it's not going to end anytime soon. We need to focus on allowing our team, and this is generally what I see, our team engaging the enemy team in the southwest side in having a victory. That is always a concentration of ships, and anything you can do, torpedoes. And it looks like the Atago sent torpedoes, and we just got to be careful it won't hit us. Oh, they're short, okay. Anything I can do to modify my team's success in the southwest side will generally lead to a complete stomp and victory, because there's such a huge concentration of ships. We see there's a Mogami, a Hindenburg. There's actually 6 cruisers all in this area. I'm surprised. Where's the battleships? Okay, there's a battleship in the center of the map, I'd say, and there's an enemy battleship at the south side. The Benson comes back for more. We're going to engage him. He knocks out one of our guns. We choose to use damage control. We have to have an advantage, and our guns are an advantage. We don't have access to our torpedoes, and he goes back into his smoke. Again, he has advantage. He can see us. We cannot see him. But our torpedoes are up. He did knock out permanently one of our guns. And we're going to try and send our torpedoes along the path of these enemy cruisers that are firing on our position. We are holding fire, and yep, we drop off. Anytime you're in a position where you're at a disadvantage, just hold your fire. You will drop off. You will be moving away. You have great concealment in a destroyer. Don't push it. There's no reason to continue the effort if you lose the ambush advantage. And our torpedoes look like they're going to hit something. There's just too many ships in that area. I feel like I have the narrow spread set up. It's going to have to hit something, and it looks like the Mogami. He's going to pick up on the threat. Yeah, I think he picks up on it. He's adjusting his heading. Enemy torpedoes are coming by us. Looks like we're going to hit one. Can we hit another? Looks like a second one. Yeah, we get 2. They cause flooding. He's going to have to use damage control. but that's 50% of his life. He is susceptible to friendly fire. At this point, the game's really close. The Hindenburg is coming towards me. Gotta give distance. He is an aircraft in the sky, and I should be turning off my AA. We are spotted because our AA fires. We turn off our AA and immediately drop right back off. That's how it works for destroyers. Keep that in mind. Oh man, friendly Ibuki barely alive. He is far too forward for our team. It's gonna be a little hard to get out. And our torpedoes are almost up, so I want to be in position to send another set. At this point, I felt like it's not looking good for us, right? We have a disadvantage, both in the territory that we have control over and the health pool of our team. But we do have our battleship in a position to actually help the southwest side, whereas the enemy battleship died to a destroyer, and these guys are going to take friendly torpedoes. The Otago takes 2, drops below 50, he loses propulsion, has to use damage control. I'm hoping my torpedoes will take down the Hindenburg, and he will go down in a blaze of glory. But I don't know that I'm going to have a good angle. It looks like we might hit 1, 2. We hit 1. The second one is just a little bit too far. We cause flooding. He has to use damage control. We all know they use damage control on flood. And we know he's susceptible to fires now. For cruisers, 5, maybe 10 seconds of immunity, and then right back on that horse, get the dots going. Enemy Benson shows back up. He wants to stay in the middle too. There's an island, a flat island. The trees aren't in the way. You need to shoot through the trees or just disable them. I prefer a more graphically impressive spectacle, so I keep that stuff on even if it will hinder my ability to see the target. I prefer, and of course, another gun is knocked out. I would prefer my guns don't get knocked out. Thank you very much. He pops his smoke again. This guy knows how to play destroyers and take advantage. So we're going to pop our smoke, and we're going to try and hide enemy torpedoes, and I thought I was done for here. I'm trying to rotate the back so I can safely avoid the torpedoes. Oh, that was so close. We safely avoid. We're taking massive damage. Everything's knocked out. We only have 2 guns, and both of them are incapacitated. 3 completely destroyed. And this is not looking good, right? This is way too early in the match to be this devastated. The enemy Benson is visible, though. He has left the safety of his smoke. And we're just waiting for damage control. Yes, I have Last Stand, and Last Stand is a lifesaver. I can't recommend it enough for any destroyer captain. Perhaps even a German cruiser captain. I would have to play around with it, but since they're supposed to take the most module damage, it would only make sense that Last Stand would be the most beneficial for them because they're basically a destroyer in that regard. They take so much damage anytime they're actually hit by HE. And we see a lot of enemies. They're pushing forward into the middle of the map. We do have our torpedoes, and yes, the torpedoes are very good. The Fletcher torpedoes, fantastic. You have access to the upgraded torpedoes that are on the gearing. The Japanese and the US destroyers are awesome with their upgraded torpedo systems. Can't wait for the tier 10s, but for now, we send out our torpedoes on the enemy. Narrow spread, concentrated on the indicator for the New Orleans. The smoke is going to hide the torpedoes, and he should, theoretically, sail right into them. They do see us, though. The aircraft is spotting me, and yeah, he has. We're going to get 1. All we need is 1. He was so low. We take him out. There's a little island. We got to be careful. We could almost jump this island. It's so small, but we cannot. We run into it. However, a little bit of luck on our side. The enemy aircraft carrier chooses not to keep his fighter in the area to eliminate me, and that basically saves my life right there. That decision to bring back the fighter and not try and get the kill for your team or scout the kill is a huge mistake in my opinion. Whenever you see a destroyer, and we're going to get another smash on this Tirpitz, nice. We cause flooding, he's going to have to use damage control. It's just helping our team ever so slightly. Every torpedo is really impactful, and because we're getting double torpedoes on a single strike, that's even better. So we have an enemy cruiser. We know the Benson is somewhere. Our team has an advantage now. They do have an enemy aircraft carrier. We are very low, though. We cannot be spotted, right? In this position, you play passively. You're basically a torpedo boat at this stage in the game. Enemy torpedoes are coming. It's going to be pretty close, but we're very agile, so we'll be able to avoid the torpedo wall. That was a little close. Enemy Benson, and when have I ever shied away? I'm never going to shy away. We engage the Benson. We feel like we can kill him before he can kill us. We miss with our second salvo, but he is taking fire from a friendly destroyer, and our combined might is enough to take out the enemy Benson. And that's a huge advantage. That takes off a lot of potential damage and scouting for the enemy. He sends out torpedoes in a last ditch. I can't imagine. It's gotta be just someone's going, I'm gonna die. I see too many torpedoes being sent out in a high combat area. You are wasting time, unless of course you're right next to the enemy and you can kill him. There's really very little chance that these long-range torpedoes in a desperate act are going to make contact. You need to focus 100% on engaging the enemy and angling your ship, in my opinion, whenever it's completely obvious that both of you are in a dogfight at that point. Now, if you are stealth, if you're trying to ambush, if you have anything in your favor, then consider using the torpedoes. We see the enemy Atago. I believe this is the Atago at the very beginning of the match that tried to torpedo us. He is very healthy. And we're going to try and get in position to use our torpedoes. We see a friendly sent out his torpedoes. I felt like the Atago was going to sail right into him. I don't really have a good angle, and I can't really get a good perspective on the friendly torpedoes. They look like they're going to hit him. Maybe they won't. We see an enemy battleship in the background, and I don't know where the last cruiser is. A single torpedo makes contact. The Atago barely avoids the torpedo that would be his downfall. Now, I could send my torpedo at the Atago, waste him. I could potentially get the kill, but I feel like getting a lot of health off of the battleship is more advantageous for my team right now. I think that he is very difficult to deal with at long range because he's a turpets. So I think torpedoes are a better option on him in a more healthy state. It's good to take out targets that can easily be assassinated. And you can see the Atago's using his new heal. I'm sure he's really enjoying it. I would much prefer you being dead, Atago. But anytime you can take health away from a target, you're helping your team. And I believe I'm more useful taking a lot of health away from the turpets and potentially killing him, by the way. No. Completely avoids it. And you always have a hindsight. You're like, I felt like I was helping my team by working on the turpets, but the turpets is going to take a big torpedo attack. Remember, he was just avoiding my torpedoes, so he was full rudder to port. And yeah, you just don't have enough time to move the rudder back. That's the best time to attack, is after a target has just dodged something, because they're going to be in a position where the rudder is not in the ideal neutral stance to adjust to whatever is coming. The Atago is barely staying in the capture, so that tells me the Atago is the only ship in the capture. And we still don't know where that other cruiser is. I don't know where this guy could be. Is he somewhere in the south side? There certainly can't be a cruiser in the center to the east side. Too many friendlies over there. Yeah, there he is. You see that cruiser? He just appeared south of this island. And funny enough, in the PTR, this island that's just south of me, you can't really see it. It was a volcano, and they took out all the effects. I don't know why. Maybe it's just too expensive. Yeah, you can see it used to be a volcano with a reaction. And I kind of did something here. I don't know if you caught on. I saw these two targets headed straight for each other, and I did a little comparison on where the torpedoes were telling me, and their indicators pretty much lined up. So I sent out a narrow, concentrated spread, and I felt like there was a potential of a double kill. The Atago looks like he's going to be the first one up. They're both very low. One torpedo would take him out. I just need one strike. Which one's going to be? He's trying to avoid, but he cannot. We take him out. And we're going to continue. Obviously, we get Confederate 2. We swap back just to get over to a torpedo in time. And yes, we're going to get a double strike with the same torpedo attack. that attack made me feel pretty slick, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, that's the Fletcher. That happens, 1 in 1,000 games where the enemies line up just right where you can get that double strike with the same torpedo attack. So 4 kills, Confederate, double strike, of course. So we get that speed flag boost. 7 torpedoes made contact, almost 2,000 base XP. The Des Moines outdid us there. Good job, Des Moines. Around 95,000 points of damage. I hope you enjoyed this game. It was fun for me. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.